Now it's your turn to graph a linear inequality in two variables. Stop this video, take a moment to write out your answers to these problems in your lecture outline packet, and then turn the video back on to check your answers. We're told in this problem to graph the linear inequality y less than or equal to 5/2 x plus 1. As our first step, we will graph the corresponding equation. So we will graph y equals 5/2 x plus 1. And we will graph this as a solid line because we have this or equal to. So we have y less than or equal to. The line is where y equals 5/2 x plus 1, so we want to include it, and we show that by drawing it as a solid line. So coming over to our graph, I'm going to label off my axes with x and y, and then I'll scale them so that each unit is represented by one tick mark. So I'll label off 5 and 10 on the x-axis and 5 and 10 on the y-axis, and then I'll label off -5 and -10 on each axis. To graph y equals 5/2 x plus 1, this is in slope-intercept form, and so I can see from that equation that the slope, which I'll write as m, is 5/2, and the y-intercept is going to be the point 0, 1. So coming to my graph, I'll plot 0, 1, and then I'll use that slope of 5/2 to determine more points on this line. Remembering that slope is rise over run, I'll go up 5 units, right 2 units. So I go from 0, 1, and going up 5 units, right 2 units, I'll be at the point 2, 6. To find more points on this line, I can't continue going to the right, so I'll again remember that 5/2 I could also think of as -5 over -2, and so I could be going down 2 units, left 2 units. So from 0, 1, down 5 units, left 2 units. So from 0, 1, I'll go down 5 units, left 2 units. And so I'll go from 0, 1, down 5, left 2, will put me at -2, -4. And in this quadrant, I could do that again. I could go down 5 units, left 2 units again, and that will put me at -4, -9. Now I'll grab my ruler and draw the line passing through these points. Now that my ruler's lined up, I will draw a solid line passing through these points, and then I'll move my ruler out of the way and put arrows on the ends of those. Okay, now going back to my original inequality, I have y less than or equal to 5/2 x plus 1. So I want to shade the side that is below this line. So I want to shade all so I will shade the region below this line. And again, I know that it's below this line because of that less than or equal to sign. The line represents where y equals 5/2 x plus 1. All points below that line will be solutions to the equation y less than or equal to 5/2 x plus 1. So I'll come over and shade. And I'll fill this in as best I can, just shading this region to show all solutions to this linear inequality y less than or equal to 5/2 x plus 1.